Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 6:30 on Sunday the 3rd of October. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. It's another cool morning. Day's just breaking on the tree line there. Actually still got a little moon up there. Yeah, winter's definitely on its way. You can feel the temperature drop this last, couple of weeks now actually. But this past week in particular, you wake up in the morning and you're thinking, time for some heating. Which was the case yesterday in the cabin actually. I was extremely tempted to pop the heater on, and I suspect when I get inside this morning it might be the same. I might actually treat myself because it is a bit colder this morning and just pop the diesel heater on for 10-15 minutes, but we'll see how it is when I get inside. Hope you're all doing well. Be a short visit today, but we can have a chat about that shortly. Let me get inside and get opened up. Well, first things first, sort the chickens out. They do like the corn. This little red one, it just comes running to me every time I walk in here, and it likes the seed out of my hand rather than off the floor. No, you're not going outside. Get yourself back in there. Oh dear, they are funny. Anyway, they're busy scratching away, pecking away. I have got greenery for them, so I'll be back later with a bit of greenery. Let's have a little look and see what we've got. There should be a couple of eggs in there from yesterday. Let's take a quick look. Grab my box. I do need a sort out in here today. It's surprisingly warm. Let me turn the light on. You can see the steam coming off my breath. Oh, look at that. There we go. I don't want to prove of this mess you've left in there, girls. Nothing in that one. Nothing in that one. I've had a few comments on the video, and thank you to those who have an interest in how the chickens are getting on, or more to the point, how they were getting on at winter. We are well insulated in here. It's distinctly warmer. There's a couple of air vents up there which I've deliberately left closed this year because there is a big one, a big louvered vent down there. And a few people have commented about keeping the chickens warm in winter, so this will get closed off. There will still be ventilation out of the little hatch that goes out into the pen, and if I think they need more, I can always open up those two vents. Just, they're on like little sliders, so I can just slightly open them if I need to. Boxes are aligned on the outside. The only thing, I suppose, the bit where it could be cold is on the back here. I have actually got some sheeting that will screw on the inside of that. But I'll just monitor it over the next few weeks and see how we get on. But it is definitely warmer in here than it is outside, so I'm not massively concerned. I'm just laughing because that little red chicken, both of the red ones, are peeking to see what I'm doing. Have I got anything special for them? Water's not bad actually. I did that yesterday. Food probably wants topping up, so I'll do that now. Well, let me get those eggs out of the way. Get in and let's turn that light off. Get in the cabin, get my coffee, and we'll have a little a little chat. Well, good morning. The hat has come out of retirement. It's a tad cool this morning. I had a quick look on the thermometer outside. You can see the heat coming off my breath and my coffee. We're hovering around 5 degrees this morning. I've not put the heating on. It's a bit of a waste. I will be moving around and keeping warm anyway. So I'll freeze through the cabin chat this morning. I'm exaggerating, it's not that cold. It is actually hovering around 5 degrees, but if I can't cope with that, God help me. Anyway, it is a sign. Winter is rapidly approaching. So if you've not thought about heating, think about it. But what a time of year to be having issues with the price of energy. You couldn't plan it, could you? Or could you? Anyway, whether it's planned or not planned, the fact is that energy prices are going up again, and will go up again in April next year. So maybe it's time to reevaluate how you heat your home, how you cook in your home, because I don't think the prices will be coming down anytime soon. They might in summer next year, if we have a decent summer and nobody's using the heating. They'll be trying to give it away, but that's a long way off yet. So heating this winter. I've mentioned a few times, I think it is going to be a particularly hard winter this year. Not that I want one, because I don't. I don't want to be trekking around in the ice and snow and freezing my extremities off at the cabin here every weekend. I'd much rather be sitting quite comfortably, thank you, but all indications are that it could well be quite a hard winter. And that's not just here in the UK, that's generally across that latitude of the earth. Have a little look on YouTube. There are quite a few, although they're not professional weather forecasters, as in they're not on the TV doing that, waving around on the camera. They clearly do know their stuff, and all of the indicators are that the conditions, the climatic conditions around the planet, it's quite complicated actually, way too complicated for me. I just take the end bit where he says, and this means cold winter. All the indications are that yes, it's looking that way this year. So have a little think about heating. Have a little think now before everybody else gets the same idea, and start thinking about things like hats, socks, gloves, decent waterproof shoes and jackets, because you might well need them this year. And if you don't, I guarantee you will at some point. And you're not going to grow out of them, not unless you're 12 years old. So yeah, have a little think about that. I bought some rubber boots, some Wellington boots, about 2 weeks ago. I bought some more normal boots probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and a couple of these little fleecy jackets. I've got oodles of wet weather gear already stored away. In fact, I'm looking behind the camera and there's 2 jackets, 3 hats. There's a pair of boots in the corner. Yeah, have a little think about that. I had quite a few comments already. The video yesterday was late up. It didn't go up until the early hours of this morning, but I've already had quite a lot of comments. So thank you for that. I mentioned when I was looking at the chickens, there's been a few comments about keeping the chickens warm over winter. Had quite lengthy discussions with my neighbour Gary. Hi Gary. Beginning of the year actually, sort of January this year, about how he keeps his chickens warm in his little chicken house across the field there. So thank you for your concern. You already know, I guess, from my videos that I do tend to spoil the chickens. So I will be keeping a very close eye on them. I've already stocked up in the cupboard here for feed, just in case there's any shortage of that. I will be continuing with my greenery. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out over winter, because this is their first winter. I don't think they'll be spending that much time outside. Who knows, the chickens. But yes, I will be keeping an eye on them, and I already have a couple of ideas as to what to do to make sure the coop is nice and cosy for them. In terms of being nice and cosy for us, not the chickens, I don't think I go over the top on my videos. If you think I do, and I don't mean the trolls, because the trolls will always say, oh, everything's all right, you're just scaremongering. I'm just trying to point out the obvious. There is an awful lot of stuff going on now around the world. And all of those things are actual little crises that affect certain sectors of life. So if it's poor harvest due to weather or pests, that's your food supply. If it's the shipping crisis, getting stuff from around the world shipped across, that's food and other essential supplies, which is an issue potentially for us. Whether it's the economy and the billions and billions and hundreds of billions that's been printed out of thin air by governments, devaluing your currency, which means in effect you don't need a price rise because your money is worth less anyway, so it takes more of it to buy the same stuff. That's an issue. Inflation, which despite all of the comments from the central banks about, oh, it's short term, it's transitory, it'll all be over, nothing to see here, it'll be gone in a couple of months. It isn't. It's been going up all the way through this year, and it's now starting to change the tone of the central banks, who are now no longer saying, oh, it's transitory. They're saying it's manageable. It's under control. It's only going to get to this level. It's nonsense. Inflation is way bigger than they tell you it is, and it's only getting bigger. So as well as your devalued currency through this money printing, inflation, the prices actually going up, is devaluing your currency and your ability to buy even further. And sooner or later, stuff will be unaffordable for many people, particularly food. Energy already is unaffordable this year for many people, and it's not stopped going up yet. So all of these little crises that are floating around, forget the pandemic, that was never a big crisis. If it was Ebola, it would have been a big crisis, but it wasn't. So forget that. All of these other things that media doesn't talk about, they have this constant push of bad news, and creating an issue like the petrol crisis that wasn't really. It's in their interest to. And bad news sells. It sells newspapers and it glues people to the TV, during which time they watch endless adverts that creates billions for these TV companies. So it's in their interest to fearmonger and push out bad news stories, even when there isn't a bad news story. So I would not pay too much attention to the mainstream media, because it is in their interest to keep you in this state of panic and alarm and fear. Yes, there is a grain of truth in what they say, and yes, in some cases, what they say is genuinely real and a threat. Say there was a terrorist attack somewhere. But generally it's their agenda that they're promoting, rather than your well-being or your agenda that they're promoting. But all of these things are going on around the world. Lots of them aren't being reported on. or they're being reported on in a not misleading way, but a misdirectional way. So energy price, for example, yes, it's gone up. Yes, it is a problem. People are struggling and will continue to struggle to pay for their energy to heat the house. But the real story behind that is industry and the production of all of your essentials, including food. If there's not enough energy to run a factory, you might remember in the UK there was that big crisis about CO2. All of a sudden there was no CO2, so the meatpacking industry started to close down. The carbonated drinks, your soft drinks, started closing down. Oh my God, we're going to run out of beer because we need CO2 in the beer. If you think about industry and energy prices, and if the only alternative is for them to stop production to save spending money on energy, what else do we use energy for? Everything. You need energy in this country, gas particularly, for the electrical grid. So if factories that are making everything from bread to cars can't afford their energy bills and shut down, everything stops. So you need a little bit of lateral thinking outside the box when they start talking about things like energy. Yes, it does impact you in your house, but it impacts everywhere else. If all of these industrial sized greenhouses that grow your tomatoes, your cucumbers, your lettuces rely on energy to heat the greenhouse or to light the greenhouse, if they have to shut down, where's all your tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce going to come from? So a bit more lateral thinking required, and the media doesn't do that. They just pick one thing and they run with it for weeks. They're still talking about the petrol crisis this morning when I came to the field. Oh, we're still shut down. No, we're not. There is the odd station in London that might be empty, but the country isn't. But if you just turned on the TV and listened to the headline, petrol crisis, the country's got no petrol, it's nonsense. And it's just designed to keep you in that perpetual state of fear and glued to the channel, so you can watch their adverts. Anyway, this is in danger of turning into a rant again, but there are lots of real things out there, and we should be doing everything we can to prepare ourselves for those crises. And it wouldn't take much for one of those to have that domino effect and to cascade, and we end up with a massive everything's gone wrong kind of crisis, rather than a few smaller things here and there. In terms of what I'm doing today, it will be a short video today. I've got a birthday to go to today, so I won't be doing that much outside of the cabin chat today. I'm hoping to get out fairly shortly and look at the bees, put that little chemical treatment in for the mites. I don't want to miss that this weekend, and right now it's not raining, so I need to get that done. I'll have a quick run round the garden, take a look. I might be tempted to pull that sweet corn out and take a look inside that barrel, because there will be some potatoes in there, I just don't know how many. And I am curious to see what those corn heads are like and get them off before the rabbits or the squirrels or whatever it is that's eating them come back again this week while I'm at work. A little bit of tidying up to do in the cabin, but I'll keep you posted as we go through the rest of the video. Wherever you are doing and wherever you are in the world, I hope all is well with you and you're staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. And do let me know what you're up to in the comment section. Do drop your comments in there about whatever it is I happen to be rambling about in my videos. Let us know what you're doing to try and get ahead of the game in terms of preparing yourself for whatever crisis might come along. It's not just me that reads the comments, so your comment with a tip, suggestion, or maybe raising an issue that we haven't discussed might just help other people in the comments section as they read them as well. So yeah, don't be shy. Get out there. Nice comments, please. No trolls allowed. But do let us all know. How are things with you? What's happening around you? What are you doing to prepare? And then all of these lots and lots of comments that we get all build up and help other people that view the channel. While on the subject of viewing the channel, do feel free, I say it every video, to subscribe if you haven't already, and do feel free to hit the thumbs up button. You'll see loads of YouTubers, they hammer that to death throughout their videos, and it is for a good reason. It does help promote the channel within YouTube. People can search and search and search and never come across your channel, but if YouTube algorithm sees lots of likes and thumbs up and comments, it pushes you up the suggested viewing list, which helps other people to find your channel. So selfless promotion by me. I need more subscribers and views, so give me a helping hand with your subs and your likes and your comments, and try and push this up the suggested view list for other people so we can reach out. There are a lot of people out there that aren't aware, and they're endlessly scrolling through YouTube. So if by chance they can stumble on mine or anybody else's prepping channel, it might just help them. Anyway, enough of this. Let me get cracked on. I do want to get dressed for the bees. They'll not be too pleased with me opening up at this time of the morning because it's a tad cool out there. But it is forecast rain again, and I really don't want to miss putting that extra chemical treatment out this week. And I've still got 2 more to go. So fingers crossed, the rain is kind to me at the weekends until I've got that done. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you later in the video. Just thought I'd have a quick run round and check on the pest control. They're smart, so I'm not expecting anything for a couple of days. Nothing on that one. Nothing on these either. But they are smarties, these pests. I don't think they've been in that. I don't think so. I'll just keep monitoring. I'll be calling in on the way back from work as usual this week, so nothing there. I'll keep you posted. Oh, I don't know about that one. Is that footprints on there or not? What do you think? No, I'm doubting it. They would have dug, I think, if they'd been on there. There's a slug on that rat poison. Oh dear, that's typical. Is he dead or is he not dead? Anyway, let me get cracked on. I will keep you posted with that over the coming weeks, see if we have any success or not. But I need to get cracked on. I need to get suited and booted for my bees. It is still damned cold out here, so I'm a little bit hesitant, but I don't know. I guess I could open the polytunnel up and give it an hour, see if it warms up any. I've just been running around closing up all of the side vents. They've been open pretty much all this year to get a bit of ventilation with tomatoes and cucumbers and such like. So I've just closed all those up. Try and get a little bit of heat retention in here. It is surprising how much the temperature difference is inside here versus outside. It wasn't, clearly, until I closed the vents, but it is now. So hopefully these potatoes will come on, and we'll be able to experiment later in the year with growing some more, and it'll just help these carrots to come along. they do need a bit more growing, and we've still got some little baby ones still growing out for hopefully see me through the rest of the year. You might remember yesterday I pointed out this little potato which has magically appeared in this barrel. It's clearly one that was missed when I harvested this barrel. Oh, I don't know how many weeks ago it was now. In there will be a tiny potato, and I mean tiny. I did say I was going to try and rescue it. I am. I also dragged out of the cabin. Let me just get in the polytunnel because I can't do this one-handed. I popped a few smaller potatoes away months ago now when I was harvesting the bigger barrels, and clearly they were no good for eating, but I thought they might just be in with a chance of chitting. And look at that, there's a little chit on that one, and there's a little chit, if it focuses, on that one. So what I'm going to do, daft as it might sound, I'm going to pop these into a container and try and dig out that little potato, because it's made such an effort, bless it, to reproduce. If I leave it out here, it will definitely die. So I'm just going to give it a helping hand. It's made such an effort for me that it would be rude not to try and help it along. So I'm going to transplant that out. Well, that's that little potato transplanted. It was a really, really tiny potato. I didn't want to... what's that? I thought it was a slug. It's not. I didn't want to take it out of the roots too much because it potentially would have just killed it. But it was tiny, 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 like that big. So that's in there. I've popped those other little tiny potatoes in there and brought it into the nursery. So I guess we'll see what happens. These cabbages are doing real well. Very nice to see the growth on these. Very nice. A long way off yet though. That's those potatoes from yesterday. And you can see almost all of them are nice and clean. There's just the odd one. Where are we? There's one there that's got that little bit of skin scab on. But other than that, I'm just hunting now, trying to see. Oh, there's a little tiny bit on that one. But they're drying out nicely, so they can go into storage. I'll just be really careful selecting. And that's the carrots from yesterday. They'll be going home with me. I am curious about these sweet potatoes as to whether I'll get anything or not. I think I'll leave those right up to Christmas and then just take a little look and see. So if I am disappointed, at least I'll have Christmas to cheer me up. Well, I think it's decision made. These could do with being left a little bit longer, but in all honesty, with the wildlife day by day just eating, it's only a matter of time before they get to these last remaining three. There are a few pods on there, or corns on there. There's some big ones and there's some small ones. But I think it's time to bite the bullet and take them out. There are potatoes in there, so I'll get the corn out the way, put that to one side and empty the container and just see what we've been left in terms of potatoes. I'm not expecting a lot because it must have only been a tiny little stray potato that took hold. And then we'll take a look at these corn cobs and see what they're like. But again, I'm not expecting anything big out of them. Well, here we go. Let's take a little look and see what we've got. That's quite heavy. I'm quite expecting this to be full of ants, but we'll see, I guess. If it comes out. Oh, this is absolutely rammed tight in here. Absolutely rammed. Yeah, it's not having it. That's better. Well, there's certainly some root growth in there. Is there anything else in there? I'll be stunned if there are any potatoes in here, because that is just absolutely rock solid. Rock solid. Well, I'll tell you what, that corn puts out some root. Absolutely. I don't think I'm going to find any potatoes in here. It's just one huge root ball. Oh dear. I think we need a bit of persuasion. Rather than watch me fight this, I'll stop the camera and I'll come back to you once I've got this opened out. Well, this has been a nightmare. I'll show you in a second. But there are potatoes, but they're literally buried in amongst all of these roots. And they're only in one particular area, and wouldn't you know it, it was the very last bit. The last bit that I got to. So we have potatoes, but very, very few, which I was kind of expecting, because it can't have been must have been about that big, the potato that was astray by accident in there. But let me look at this. I'll pull the camera off the tripod and you can take a little look. Nightmare scenario. So that's what it all looks like. Just huge clumps of root. It was one massive root ball in that barrel, and we got 6 large and 2 small potatoes out of it. But hey, credit where credit's due. They are very, very nice, clean potatoes. But was it worth the fight? Yes, it was. There's a meal or two in there for me. So let's get tidied up and then we'll turn our attention to the corn cobs. Well, that's the potatoes. There's a bit of green one there, which was on the surface. But the rest are actually nice potatoes, just not many of them. And as I say, I wasn't really expecting. These are the corn cobs. I'm not expecting to find much inside these. But let's take a little look. Take the baby one first. You never know. I might have some baby sweet corn for dinner tonight. And there it is. It is a baby one. Oh dear. But if that's anything to go by, then this one shouldn't be too bad. Or this one. And that's probably the same, little tiny baby. So I'm tempted to just let these dry out and see. Because it is a sweet corn at the end of the day. It's just not very big. Anyway, I'll dry these out and we'll take a little look at some point over the week, maybe at the weekend, next weekend, I don't know. Well, the gods must be on my side this morning, because if you look at the field, there's a little bit of sunlight has broken out, and look where it's shining on. It's shining on the beehive. So I'm going to get myself suited and booted and put some more of those chemical strips into the beehive. The chickens know it's the weekend, and they know that at some point I'm going to appear with my greenery. So look, they're all congregating around the door. Give me 10-15 minutes, ladies, I'll be with you, and I'll give you some greenery. Get in and lay some eggs quick. Well, I've got my various accoutrements, so let's have a quick run across to the hive, pop that open and get this treatment in. Thought I'd dropped something then. They're all out sunbathing, and the flies are out sunbathing as well. Right. 2 seconds while I put this on the tripod. Hopefully you'll get a decent view, and we'll get this job done as quick as we can so we're not upsetting the girls inside. Right, this is where it all goes crazy. They're still building on that roof. I don't know why they're doing that. Right, let's get this super box. There's a fair bit of activity in the bottom of there. I think we're going to get a bit of a swarm when I remove this. Right, here we go. We've got a bit of a wind today, which is not helping me with smoking them. Yeah, the wind's just taking it away. But it's crack on. How stuck is this? Fairly is the answer. Come on. It's the centre section that's giving me the problem. That's the old treatment, so I'll just pop that to one side. Get off. Lots of activity inside there. Lots of activity. I can't believe how many bees I've got now in here. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's just pull this out. Last time. Right, so let's get this covered back up again before they all get upset. There's one in the way, there would be, wouldn't there? Get out of it. Okay. Yep, that looks okay. They're just sunbathing on there. Yeah, there's not a lot of activity in this this second box, so I think the plan of leaving them this year is the right one. They are going to need food. In the winter, so I don't want to be stealing it from them. Job done. They're all just sitting inside there. I think they're just waiting for it to warm up sufficiently so they can come out and forage. Apart from this one solitary little bee sat on here, all the rest appear to be, oh, there's one sunbird in there. All the rest seem to be having a late start this morning. It is still fairly early though. Anyway, nice job done. Let me get packed up and it'll soon be time to be getting off home. It wouldn't be the weekend without the greenery, would it? There's a cabbage and a lettuce in there. But as usual, this little red one is hanging around. There we go. It was worth your wait, wasn't it? And the second one's coming. What's this then? Yes. Oh, Cockerel's coming to have a look. He's jealous because his girls are coming to me instead of to him. Just you be careful with my fingers. You know he's going to get me, don't you? He's going to get this finger. The red ones know. Look at it, he's so jealous. Yeah, that's getting a bit close to my fingers now. Okay, there we go. The girls are all happy. Cockerel will start shouting them now. He'll find one piece and he'll go cluck, 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 cluck. And they'll all come running, look, look. He just loves being in charge. Little red ones, they know who's in charge, don't you girls? Okay, that's it. It's time to get tidied up and packed up, I think. Well, while the chickens are all outside enjoying the greenery, just taking the opportunity to tidy up the bedding, top the food and water up, and clear out these perches by the nest boxes. Coughing a bit because it's dusty. But it's a good job done. Nice, fresh, clean. I do spoil my chickens. Well, just a quick check of the tanks. We're at, that's about 575-ish. Heading towards the 600 litre mark, that's good. So we've had another 50 to 75 litres in those tanks. Well over half full now. Excellent news. So, right, chickens are happy. Water, I'm happy. I just need to close everything up and that'll be it. Well, that's it for another day and another weekend. Chickens are content, so I'm content. Everything's locked up. That bit of sun didn't last long. But I'm going now, so it doesn't matter. That's another weekend gone. The time flies by so fast, it's unbelievable. Wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. Don't forget to let me know how you're getting on in the comment section on the videos, and maybe give some tips to other people who might be watching. But that's it for today. I'll catch up with you in the next video. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How's the garden looking now? Winter is upon us, and at least it's nice and tidy, and hopefully the frost will do the work on that compost I put on and break that down ready for an early start next year. Same kind of thing in the garden room really. I am trying to plan ahead as much as I can, and I'll certainly be experimenting over the winter months with planting early, so keep an eye out for that. What are you doing? How's your garden? What are your thoughts for winter and planting in the early season next year? Let us all know in the comment section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.